Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named El Rotem in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled, "I kicked out my GF sister and her kids from my flat after my GF gave her the keys. People around me are saying I'm an asshole, but I need the perspective of uninvolved people. My long-term girlfriend has my apartment keys as I have hers. The only unspoken but always respected rule was if you need to go to the other place, just send a text saying, 'Hey, going to your place.' It doesn't matter if the other person is at home or even responds, just simply to tell the other you will be at their place. I was supposed to be away 700 kilometers from home for 2 weeks for work-related stuff, but 4 days in, our instructor got into an accident. Work tried to find another one, but no luck on very short notice. They decided around 10 p.m. to get us the first flight home the next day at 6 a.m., pay us overtime and the next day at home, then resume our normal work schedule. So I got home the next day around 9 a.m. and sent a text to my girlfriend to tell her I was back. Getting to my door, I was very confused hearing children screaming inside since none of the people who have my keys have kids like that, my brother and my girlfriend. I thought I had squatters or something. Opening the door, I saw my girlfriend's sister's kid running around after a shower, putting water everywhere. Plates of half-finished ravioli were on my living room floor. Their suitcases were opened in the entrance. I got inside and saw the husband on my couch trying to hook up my PlayStation 2. I got into a verbal argument with him, trying to understand why the hell they were here. He said my girlfriend told them they could use my flat for 2 weeks while I was gone because they wanted to visit the city and go to the beach. My girlfriend sent me a text while I was arguing and telling me, "Oh, okay, by the way, my sister's family is at your flat. I admit I blew up on him and the sister who left my bedroom in the meantime." I told them to leave immediately. They argued quite a bit. My girlfriend called her sister, then the sister put the speakerphone on so we could all hear. She said I was embarrassing her and that she told them they could use my place for a while. I threatened to call the police and also asked my brothers to come. They left while cursing me to their children, saying that holidays were over because the mean little sister's boyfriend kicked them out. Now I have all of my girlfriend's family on my back and even some of my own family, saying I could have stayed with my girlfriend so the kids could have some vacations. Also, they have read my doctor's prescription papers and obviously took some of my prescribed medication, opened a box of benzodiazepines. Am I the asshole for making them leave? We have pretty much stopped talking about anything else with my girlfriend. I feel like I am being gaslighted. I would never invite people to her apartment like that, especially without telling her. It seems so disrespectful. Am I going insane? Update. After I kicked them out, I received messages from my ex's family and calls from my ex's mom telling me how terrible I was to do such a thing. I had to set the record straight because my ex omitted to tell her mom that she did not inform me of their planned vacations in my flat. When it got around, they changed tactics and told me repeatedly that while she shouldn't have done it, I was even worse because I ruined the sister's kids' holidays and that I could have been the bigger person and stayed at my ex's place until they left. 2 or 3 days later, I discovered that someone had read my prescriptions and opened my next box of benzodiazepine and took out 5 pills. I assumed it was the sister and her husband and that they got high on it. I informed my friends first and it must have been shared immediately with my ex because less than 15 minutes later, I was receiving messages from my ex and her sister telling me that it wasn't them and I must have opened and used the wrong box by mistake. They must have told their parents because they reached out to a common friend of ours to know more, and they started to blame the sister's husband for being a drug addict, that they always knew he was bad news and all that, and my ex joined them. The sister and her husband got angry at them, said it must have been my ex, then my ex blamed her sister. Just shit slinging all over the carpet. The sister even told her parents about how my ex did weed a few times at parties at university more than 10 years ago. Laugh out loud. At least they left me alone while they were blaming each other. Then, after a few days, I got a call from the sister who apologized about her reaction when I kicked them out. She seemed truly remorseful, told me that it was my girlfriend that proposed it, and assured them it was all good, that they could use my place without issues, and that she assumed we must have had a couple's argument when I decided to rescind my agreement for their stay just to be petty to my ex and get back at her, and that they got caught in the middle. It is somewhat coherent with what they told me and how they acted at that time, so I am inclined to believe it. She still completely denied having anything to do with my medication though. I went to the police. It took me all morning to end up telling a cop who very clearly thought I was a liar and an addict trying to get more medication. I wouldn't have said they just stole 5 if I wanted more though. I would have said they took the entire box. He couldn't care less and just wanted it to be over with, so it was completely useless. Her family got wind of my complaint because it threw some fresh shit in the fireplace, and they got into an argument again. Apparently, her family decided that the most recent perpetrator is my ex, and she blocked her mom and her sister. I don't know much more. Also, we broke up in the meantime. I tried to get an explanation for her disrespectful attitude, but I was stonewalled completely. It was always, how could you do that to me? Or just ignoring me. When I told her that we were done, she sent me a picture of my stuff at her place in a bag all ready by her entrance, and she sent a list of stuff she wanted back. No emotion at all, no apologies, just coldness. I guess you never truly know someone. Well, I think I've told most of what happened since then, except that my anxiety is through the roof and I have to take medication more often now. I want to thank all the people who answered. I didn't expect so much attention. A lot of them were great pieces of advice. It will probably be the only update. The only thing left is discovering who truly stole my medication, but the police will not do anything, so meh. I'll edit or post a comment if something does happen on that front. Comfortable Focus said, the ex's reaction shows she did not give a crap about OP. To this, Jai Nason said, I'm going to say it also shows she was likely the one who sold the drugs. Then to this, Monkey Choker said, I was thinking more consuming than selling. Considering the OP was only taking them on an as-needed basis, I wonder if she had previously snuck out a bit from each box, but only after the boxes were already opened. Say there are 10 sheets of pills per box. If he has used up 1 or 2 sheets through normal usage and she sneaks out the third, the box would still look just as full at a casual glance. By the time he reaches the end, he may not recall exactly how many he has taken and just assume box is empty, must have just worn them down 1 or 2 at a time. This next post was made in the same subreddit by a user named Cold River. The post is titled, My Stepmom Kissed My Boyfriend on the Mouth. My 22-year-old stepmom, 38, was drunk, but it's still crazy. My boyfriend is 26. We were celebrating my boyfriend's birthday. My stepmom loves to drink and she's been drunk on many occasions. Usually, she just becomes a louder and chattier version of herself. She's gotten angry drunk a few times too. Maybe the kind of drunk she becomes depends on her mood. I have never gotten drunk and don't drink alcohol, so maybe I'm ignorant of its effects, but I find it hard to believe alcohol can bring this out. Please correct me if I'm misinformed. My boyfriend was sitting on a chair but reversed, so he had his arms crossed, resting them on the backrest, and his head was on his arms. We were watching a game on TV and the birthday party had kind of wound down. Most of the guests were gone. I was cleaning up. My stepmom was lounging outside and smoking. I missed some of the approach, but my boyfriend said she just came up to him, slurring her words, and the TV was loud, so when she said something to him, he didn't catch it. He gestured for her to come closer and say it in his ear. She leaned in and told him, "You're so handsome, movie star eyes." He said he just smiled back up at her and kind of laughed it off. He could tell she was very drunk. The rest of it I saw for myself. He returned his attention to the TV. She reached out and touched his chin to get him to look back at her, then leaned in, and my boyfriend told me she said, "Happy birthday, darling," and kissed him on the cheek and then suddenly on the mouth. If that wasn't enough, she tried to kiss him again on the mouth, but he pushed her face away. She laughed and I was so shocked I was frozen. I don't even remember what I said, but I said something. I remember my boyfriend's friend said, "Did she just kiss you?" My stepmom just laughed it off and told us, "Don't make a big deal out of it, it was an accident." She won't so much as apologize, but when she got sober, she approached me privately to tell me not to tell my dad. Am I the asshole if I tell my dad, or is this really just not a big deal? I don't want to cause stress for my dad, but I think this is a little too big to file away as a drunk oopsie and just forget about it. Update. I got asked a lot, so I will say it here in case my comment didn't get noticed. My dad is 43 years old, so the age difference between him and my stepmom isn't super drastic. People were wondering where he was during this. He was at work. I waited until my dad was home alone and told him what happened. We have a rocky relationship because he has poor emotional regulation. That's why my mom left him. It's getting better between us though, since both of us have been making a conscious effort to communicate calmly, so this conversation was one I was dreading with my dad, but it went as well as it could. My dad's first response was still to be irritable and defensive. He focused his anger on my boyfriend initially. I had to make it very clear that this happened unknowingly and spontaneously as far as my boyfriend is concerned, and that he was a victim in this. I also mentioned to my dad that my stepmom told me not to tell him. My dad was too angry for words and didn't say much to me. He left the house and came back later, a bit more cooled off. He made me repeat the order of events again and exactly what was said. He then said the rest is between my stepmom and him and that he doesn't want me to get involved. He requested that I not have my boyfriend over for a while. I can go over to his place instead. That works out since my boyfriend doesn't feel comfortable around my stepmom anymore. You guys speculated my stepmom has a drinking problem. She definitely does. I think it's gotten worse in the last few months. I don't know why though. I have never had any issues with my stepmom, but we are not exactly close either. Update 2. I just wanted to come back to add something to this situation. Last update, I promise. My dad and stepmom talked privately, and although I didn't get to be part of those conversations, she did approach me afterwards requesting to make an apology. She asked me if we, my boyfriend and I, could come over to hear her out, so we did. I could tell she took time beforehand to reflect, and her apology was sincere. During the apology, she explained that she was so shocked and appalled by what she had done that she didn't want to acknowledge it or hear about it. She said she cannot explain why she did that because she herself doesn't know. She said she does not remember the event either, which has made it even more horrifying for her. She has a lot of self-loathing. She said she feels like she doesn't have any control anymore, that this was her rock bottom. She said her natural response when I brought it up was to try to reject it and push it away or try to make light of it because any mention of it made her sick with herself. At the same time, she understands that we didn't know how she was feeling or thinking or what was in her head. We could only judge her on her actions and behavior. When she minimized it, asked me to hide it from my dad, and basically dismissed and avoided it in general, it just made everything worse. It was wrong, and she does seem to recognize that. I really believe her, but also at this point, I think we're all just trying to move forward from it knowing she did something she can never take back. Sexual assaulting my boyfriend. She knows that she broke everyone's trust and that it will take time to repair. My dad genuinely believes what happened was due to alcoholism and her deteriorated mental health. I didn't know this, but she has been seeing a psychiatrist on an outpatient basis, and other incidents have happened with her. Not infidelity or anything like what happened with my boyfriend, but instances where she has apparently embarrassed herself by doing things she would have never done otherwise. My dad refused to go into much detail about that in front of me and my boyfriend. My dad doesn't want me involved and has made it clear this is not my problem and not something I have to help with. He doesn't want that, which is a great relief. Lately, I think back a lot about how I miss so many signs. We're not close, but I didn't know the extent of this addiction. She drank a lot and smoked, but I always thought it was just her personality. She always looked immaculate, put together, and happy. She was so functional well until she wasn't. I said in my last post, but I will say again that I only noticed her drinking as a problem in these last few months because she started getting disorganized and messy and was not her usual self. They are going to separate, but my dad is going to continue to support her a bit with getting help. It's not that there's hope for reconciliation or anything. My dad said he wants to take it one step at a time. She needs to get sober first. Who she is right now is a person no one wants to be with or to be around. She has agreed to get help and comply with treatment. She is not moving out of the house immediately because the plan is to go into a treatment program. Also, she drinks so much she is at risk for withdrawal, so she's moving into the guest room until she gets into treatment and then will not be returning home. I am back at home again too. I don't know if I mentioned, but I live with my dad still, though I want to expedite moving out soon because the energy in this house just feels tainted. I also need to be away from her. Unfortunately, my boyfriend is still uncomfortable about what happened. He has been brushing it off like it's fine and he's over it now, but I think it's something he's still processing. With us, it's become awkward. I feel like there's a huge distance suddenly between us. It's hard to describe. I think it's even harder for him to articulate it to me, but it sucks. Because I don't know, I feel like he's going to break up with me soon. I'm trying my best. I'm also trying to give him space and be supportive and also let him have autonomy over this. I just feel so poorly equipped to fix things, and I know in my heart that I actually can't fix this. It's a helpless feeling. I am sure that my family just grosses him out now, and I feel so embarrassed about it and guilty, and I feel gross myself. I wish I could wash everything away. I really need to move out. I wish this didn't happen. Anyway, so that hurts. Also, my biological mom remarried and she's a year older than my dad. Hope that clears up any misconception about their ages. I think some people misread, so when they did the math, they kept using my stepmom's age to calculate when I was born. They were not exactly teen parents, but I honestly can't imagine having a kid at my age, so it's still crazy to me that they had me so young. Thank you again for reading, listening, and pushing me to communicate. I think if my dad and I can survive this, we can probably communicate our way through anything, right? Wishful thinking. My only request is if anyone has support or tips for dealing with a family member who is addicted to alcohol, please share if you can. The brochures I picked up are so basic. Edit. I commented in detail here to clarify some things further. We have not forgiven her. Neither myself, my boyfriend, nor my dad. My dad even said he will support my boyfriend if he wants to press charges. She knows what she did is sexual assault. As I mentioned, my dad is requesting separation. She is going into treatment and will look for a place while in treatment using their supports for housing. I am trying to fast track moving out and going no contact with her. I was supposed to move out with my boyfriend. We were touring apartments and now it's different. All of these things take time, unfortunately, and I'm new to navigating them and have other things going on too outside of this incident. I have intentionally left out how my boyfriend feels because it doesn't feel like my place to put words to it, especially since how we write things on Reddit can easily be misconstrued. I just shared a little bit that I felt comfortable sharing. My dad has attempted to speak to him privately. I have spoken to him privately. He also has good friends to lean on that can be there for him in a way I can't right now because I'm involved. He is the true victim of all this, and I didn't mean to minimize that by not mentioning certain things. Sorry if it came across like that. I was just trying to be careful. Final update. I received a few messages about this, so I will just make a quick update. My boyfriend and I survived this ordeal. He really just needed to be alone for a while to process and stop hearing about this, and I had a feeling he needed breathing room. That's why I moved back in with my dad, to give him space. During our time apart, we did check in with each other, and after some days, we met up and everything just fell back into place. On the topic of feelings, it's not mine to attempt to put words to his emotions, but I can share this much with you. My boyfriend isn't interested in therapy, a police report, or anything like that for this. He doesn't want to make it bigger than it is and just wants to move past it. We are moving in together next month as originally planned. My stepmom is still committed to going to rehab. I am no contact with her and will remain that way for the foreseeable future, but I did get her a small gift for detox as encouragement. She started out on a wait list and had to arrange to take time off her job, but she will be getting her bed the week after the 4th of July weekend. Clarification on the gift. I gave her a small totem as encouragement and a reminder to work towards sobriety. That's it. Once in detox, my dad is going to move her out of the guest bedroom and she is going to work with resources at the treatment center to find a new place to live. They are divorcing. I don't know if he will be no contact with her or not. Our extended family on my dad's side criticized him for abandoning her, but my dad said she needs to experience her rock bottom, and getting sober should be something she accomplishes for herself, not something she does for him or anyone else. I went to an Al-Anon meeting just to experience it with an open mind. Although it felt valuable, that one meeting, ultimately, I don't see myself wanting to go again and again. I did get advice from you guys that you have to try a few different ones sometimes to find the vibe that fits you, so I will state that here in case someone is interested. Matcha Magpie said, I am pleasantly surprised the dad handled this as well as he could have, considering his history with the OP, hoping the best for the OP and her boyfriend. To this, Uncurious Crouton said, the OP's father strikes me as someone who has issues, but also knows he has issues and has come up with ways to handle them. Sunny Silver 8 said, I'm glad that the stepmom is going to rehab. It's unfortunate that she had to hit rock bottom to get there, but sometimes that's what is needed for someone to acknowledge they have a problem. The OP and her boyfriend seem to be handling everything well. I agree with him that police involvement would make the situation much worse. And while I'm supportive of therapy and counseling, in this case, I think it will bring up more negative feelings than it will solve. Splashy Tummy said, when my husband first met my stepmom while we were dating, she tried to kiss him on the lips, but got his cheek instead. So she tried again. He gently pushed her away and moved back. My whole family was there to witness it, which actually made things better because they all intervened. She's mostly sober now, but she's still nuttier than squirrel shit. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.